Hi there, I'm Dr. Elisa Peavy. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an osteopathic family medicine physician. I graduated from medical school at ATSU KCOM in Kirksville, Missouri in 2010 and graduated from my residency in Tulsa, Oklahoma at OSU, Oklahoma State University, the family medicine residency program there in 2013. I went out into private practice immediately after for a couple of years, and then went into employed medicine because private practice is just almost impossible to make money. So I went in as an employee and worked there until January of last year. I'm here today as a physician, as well as a patient and as a human, because I would like to talk about these mandates that have come out here in the last week, mandating that all hospital employees, staff, etc. need to take the in order to keep their jobs. Some of them have offered some, medical exemptions and whatnot, but not all those are being approved. And there are a lot of people who are, very upset. I being one of them, I don't work for a hospital system. But unfortunately, the entire narrative and the entire way that this whole thing has been played out over the past 18 months is not only horrific, it's a crime against humanity. There's really no other way to say it any differently. There's really no other way to put it. It is truly a crime against the world, against all of us. As physicians, we pledge to first do no harm. We also, come into our specialties and the way that we practice through other colleagues that have taught us. We're taught to follow evidence-based medicine. We're taught to follow the studies that have already been done that show and essentially direct us in terms of how we practice care. That's everything that we do as physicians, is follow evidence-based medicine. Evidence-based medicine. That's what we do. Okay? So this entire situation over the last 18 months has not only not followed evidence-based medicine, but has intentionally, I say it, what is it? I'm not for sure who all is involved. There's several organizations, several people that are involved in this. I'm not going to be listing off names, but we have a certain infectious disease specialist that is running the show, who has personal patents that tie back to gene sequences that are part of this novel, new bug that is out there. Except there's 120 different patents that essentially account for 99% of that novel, new bug. So it's not novel, it's not new. So that, first of all, is untrue. He has so many ties with so many people that it's just insane. I spoke about in one of my other videos his tie to the research about the HIV, using the actual V, some of those sequences, making it and using it as a vector for the HIV, which means that it can be manipulated, it can be produced as a bioweapon? A bioweapon. A bioweapon. It can be made as a bioweapon and has been studied as such. And it was the infectious disease specialist who studied it. There's so many other people. I mean, you know, one of the world's biggest computer geeks, we all know who that is, tied right in there with this infectious disease dude. They're tied right in there with that 3-letter word that begins with a C and ends with a C, and the middle letter is D. Tied in there with NIH. So many things. So many things. There is, I mean, his emails showed evidence that he knows that masks don't work. His emails show that. So that's just, you know, he's just one of many, of course. And then these organizations and things being censored and things not being allowed to be out there. Physicians, not being able to reach out and have conversations with my colleagues about therapeutic options in the middle of a time when we should have several emergency therapy options, not just one or none until the one comes. I mean, there was so much censorship on anything else that could potentially work. It was insane. And then finally, you know, this new therapeutic drug that's going to save everything comes out after, you know, time spent in making it, just several months. It was the least amount of time we've ever done for anything, with a brand spanking new technology, by the way, that we'd never used before, never tried before. And basically just rolled it out and, you know, said, go for it. This is it. And, you know, I was suspicious about potential concerns and what it would cause and what it would do to many people. But I was hopeful that I was going to be wrong. I wanted to be wrong. I really, really wanted to be wrong. But I didn't think that I was wrong. And lo and behold, guess what's happening? I wasn't wrong. And not only are more things continually being censored that are showing the actual evidence-based medicine and the proof that I wasn't wrong, they're now mandating this. They're requiring it. When we already know that the ones that have been reported, which not everything gets reported. We have a study that shows that essentially less than 10% of anything is reported. So we have 12,000 deaths at the very least. We had 30,000 hospitalizations, almost 10,000 disabilities. I mean, 1,000 miscarriages. That's a lot of miscarriages. And we're okay to mandate that, so people know that if they're going to be forced to get this, there are going to be people from those that are forced who are going to lose their lives. There will be people who will become disabled. There will be people who will be hospitalized. There will be people who have heart attacks and other problems. And those are just really the immediate reactions. You are well aware of a lot of that, correct? Is that most of those are somewhat immediate, usually within the first few weeks to a month. We're now seeing people who are coming out and talking about long-term chronic problems, very similar to the chronic long haulers of those who had the actual bug themselves. And the reason, again, is because those proteins that are used in the are the same proteins that were found to cause the damage in the actual V itself. Crazy. And you know, studies were done back in the early 2000s on animals. They didn't end well. Using the same proteins, very similar in those animals. They didn't go past a year, most of them. The majority of them left this earth before a year's time. Some of them were quick, some of them within the first week and 2 weeks, but most of them were long-term. And they had all sorts of problems that was from all the deposition of those proteins in their body. So this is a really big concern. People are really concerned. You know, when you're listing deaths and adverse effects like that, I mean, why would anyone want to go take a therapy that potentially was going to cause those problems when they could have maybe taken, or when they could take something else if they get it within the first few days and have almost 100% turnaround? Several therapies, literally all over the world. There is, I could link you to a document that has tons of natural therapeutic remedies that could take care of this. Anyone can access it. We all have the ability to access it. In addition, just keeping ourselves healthy and being outside, getting fresh air, getting in the sun, taking time to take care of yourself. Those things certainly are going to keep your immune system up, so that if you do get it, this unnovel bug, which, right, we now know it's not new. And by the way, those patents aren't the only thing that tell us it's not new. The other thing that tells us are the studies that they did actually on the people who have already gotten it. They followed their levels of antibodies, and saw that the majority of them had the long-term memory antibodies pop up within just the first few days, which means that they were already protected. There was no need for that. No need. So I'm putting out a plea to my colleagues. I've had several colleagues send me messages. I've had conversations, phone calls with a lot of you. And I know that many of you are doing everything that you can within the position that you're in. And I want to give credit, and I want to make sure that you guys know how important what you are doing out there is. It is very important what you're doing to help this cause, help fight against our medical freedoms. I know there's a lot of you out there, you're scared to talk, you're scared to speak, you're scared of what's going to happen to your livelihood. I know. I 100% know. My livelihood is not anything like it was before I left my job. But it's more important to me and to my integrity and to my inner peace and to the person that I know that I am actually now standing up for my truth and standing up for what I believe is right. Because if we don't, we're going to lose all of our rights. All of our rights. And many, many more people are going to be seriously injured or dead. Not everybody, but many more people. When have we ever mandated something like this for a disease that kills about as many people as the flu? We've never mandated the flu before. Interesting also, the flu disappeared the last 18 months. Things that make you go, You know, those tests, those swab sticks they stick up your nose? Well, we know that they're highly inaccurate. Suddenly we weren't detecting flu anymore. All of a sudden we're detecting everything. New novel. I have the evidence. If you are actually going to talk about evidence-based medicine, then you can't talk about this being evidence-based, because it sure isn't yet. It's not evidence-based until next year. But we do have a lot of other things that are evidence-based that are showing exactly what is going on. I have that evidence. Come talk to me. Seek me out. If you know, if you have stories of injuries, things that have been kept, hidden, suppressed, come talk to me. We don't have to identify who you are. Again, I understand people have livelihoods and jobs to protect, but that doesn't mean that we can't get that information out there somehow, because the more people that come forward and start talking about what's really happening and what's really going on, the more impact we'll be able to have. But we have to be brave enough to step up. We have to, in whatever way that looks for you. But again, there are different ways of doing your part, but you still have to be brave enough to do it. This is serious. This is serious stuff. They're not gonna just leave it mandate for the hospital employees. They're then gonna start mandating at all the other clinics and systems. Every job is gonna start mandating. They're gonna start mandating for your kids at school. I don't think you want your children to have this. The risk of infertility, I mean, it's massive. Those proteins, I mean, we have studies that directly show those proteins depositing in the ovaries and the testes. It's not just women who are going to have issues, it is men too. And that's just that part. I mean, let alone the potential for neurological problems, POTS disease, Guillain-Barré syndrome, all these other neurological diseases that come oftentimes after people get it, autoimmune diseases. It's not safe. It's not. So reach out to me, please. You'll see links in wherever this is posted. You'll have links to ways of contacting me, my email address. I am interviewing people. If you just want to join the movement, to know what's going on, reach out, get in touch, okay? We need you guys. We need other docs to step up as well. Have a great day.